The administration came out in support of the bakers' freedom of expression in yesterday's Supreme Court case. I guess I'm asking, why are athletes' rights to express themselves freely any different than the bakers?
When it comes to the bakers, we're pleased with the Supreme Court's decision. The First Amendment prohibits government discriminating against the basis of religious beliefs, and the Supreme Court rightly concluded that the Colorado Civil Rights Commission failed to show tolerance and respect for his religious beliefs. In this case and others, the Department of Justice will continue to vigorously defend the free speech and religious freedom First Amendment rights.
So I guess my question is simple. So if the White House supports the bakers' right of free speech, why doesn't the White House support the players' right to free speech?
The president doesn't think that this is an issue simply of free speech. He thinks it's about respecting the men and women of our military. It's about respecting our national anthem, and it's about standing out of pride for that. Sorry, take one last question.
Will he commit to a roundtable?
Police-involved shootings.
Will the president then, if it is about free speech and he supports these ideas, will the president commit to a roundtable with America's athletes on topics of social injustice?
Certainly be happy to ask him. See you.
Has he not considered, just for clarity, is it not something that has had any discussion to this point, given all the division in this country over this topic of social injustice?
Certainly we look at ways every single day to unify our country. The president has worked actively and tirelessly to be the president of all Americans. I think you can see that reflected in the policies that he's put forth. I think one of the biggest things that you've seen come out of this administration, frankly, that is far and vastly different than previous administrations, is providing economic opportunity for all Americans. And one of the greatest equalizers that we can have is to provide a level playing field. And the president has worked increasingly hard to make sure that that happens. Kevin spoke about that earlier, and he's going to continue to do that. We'll take one last question, Stephen.
About police-involved shootings.
Stephen.
Is the president aware that this is about police-involved shootings and not about disrespecting the flag? Is the president aware of that, Sarah, please? I understand you're going to Stephen, but I'm asking, there's an underlying issue, and it just keeps going about disrespect of the flag and soldiers. There are black and brown soldiers that fight in the military as well, who feel that taking a knee, bringing attention to police-involved shootings is something that this White House should deal with. Is the president aware that taking the knee is about police-involved shootings?
The president has made his position crystal clear, and that it's about, I let you rudely interrupt me and your colleague. I'm going to ask that you allow me to finish my answer. I would be happy to answer it if you would stop talking long enough to let me do that. The president has made his position crystal clear on this topic. He feels strongly that standing for our national anthem is something that we should do, something that matters to what makes our country special and unique and what sets us apart. He's not going to waver on that, and he's not going to apologize for it. And frankly, more than 70% of Americans agree with him on that matter. If you go back to what the original intent was, this has been made a political argument of which the president is not going to back down from, and he's been clear on it. Stephen, last question. April, I've addressed your question. I'm not going to continue to engage with you. Stephen.
The NFL is now telling people they have to stand. Will the president deal with the issue of police-involved shootings?
I'm going to deal with the issue of addressing your colleague's question.
But it's a real question. Can you take it to the president and come back to us with it?
On the president's decision to disinvite the Eagles, he's suggesting this is about the national anthem. Is the president aware that not a single player on the Eagles through the entire season knelt for the national anthem?
The president's position on not just the anthem has been clear, but let's not forget this isn't. There were 80 members of the Eagles organization that RSVP'd and committed to attend this event as recently as Friday, as well as over 1,000 fans of the Eagles organization. And the Eagles are the ones that tried to change their commitment at the 11th hour. And the president, frankly, thinks that the fans deserve better than that. And therefore, we changed the ceremony to be a focus on celebrating our great country.
Why does he feel like this is about the national anthem? And is he concerned that we heard from Steph Curry and from LeBron James the suggestion that whoever wins the NBA championship, they're unlikely to be here? Is this about something more than the national anthem? Something other than the national anthem?
Look, if this wasn't a political stunt by the Eagles franchise, then they wouldn't have planned to attend the event and then backed out at the last minute. And if it wasn't a political stunt, then they wouldn't have attempted to reschedule the visit when they knew that the president was going to be overseas. And if this wasn't a political stunt, they wouldn't have waited until Monday, well after 1,000 of their fans had traveled and taken time out of their schedules to offer only a tiny handful of representatives to attend the event. Cecilia?
Are you saying that the president bears zero responsibility in this cancellation? This is a president who called NFL players SOBs, who implied that some players who don't stand for the national anthem do not belong in this country. Does he bear zero responsibility for players like the Warriors and the Cavs not wanting to come and the Eagles bailing on this?
The president his position hasn't changed on this throughout the process, and the president's position was very clearly stated in a number of forums and venues, and the Eagles made the commitment to come and to be part of that event well after the president had established his feelings in regards to the national anthem. And once again, they made that change at the last minute, not the president. He's the one that has been completely consistent in his viewpoint when it comes to this. Pamela?
You referred us to the outside counsel on the Don Jr. statement that the president was involved in. The outside counsel did weigh in, saying that yes, the president did dictate the statement. Rudy Giuliani was on CNN saying it was a mistake to say that the president didn't dictate it. So do you want to correct the record on your statement from August when you said he certainly didn't dictate?
Once again, I'm not going to go into detail and go into a back and forth. And I know that you guys would love to engage on matters of conversations between the special counsel and the outside counsel, but we've purposefully walled off, and I'm not going to comment on the outside counsel.
Outside counsel in August as well, but you still talked about it. So why can't you correct the record now?
Again, I'm not going to answer questions that deal specifically with conversations between the outside counsel and the special counsel.
Not to answer the question?
Again, I am not going to get into a back and forth with you on that, and I'd refer you to the outside counsel. Josh, go ahead.
The administrator, Scott Pruitt, asking we reported today to help his wife get a Chick-fil-A franchise. Does the president think that's ethical behavior?
I haven't spoken with the president about that since that report came out. Matthew?
One follow-up for you, Sarah. To her question, I'm asking really about the special counsel, the outside counsel. The only question is, do you think your statement in August was accurate? Your statement, not this. Was your statement accurate or inaccurate?
Again, I know you want to get me into a back and forth with you on this conversation.
Back and forth. You said something. We just want to know if it was accurate or not.
Look, I know your goal is to engage me in a conversation about matters dealing with the outside counsel, and I'm not going to do that today.
Not about the outside counsel. You said something from the podium. Was it accurate or not? That's all we want to know.
I work day in, day out, and I believe, frankly, with the majority of you here in the room, I think you all know I'm an honest person who works extremely hard to provide you with accurate information at all times. I'm going to continue to do that, but I'm not going to engage on matters that deal with the outside counsel. Andrew?
Thanks, Sarah. I wanted to follow up on Josh's question and Sarah's question, but in a larger sense. The president, whether it's on his Twitter account or otherwise, keeps saying things that are not borne out by the facts, whether it is the Eagles thing is about the national anthem, or we got $6 billion for opioids and getting rid of that scourge that's taken over our country, and the numbers are way down. We have thousands of immigration judges. And so the president keeps saying things that aren't true. And this thing with dictating the statement.
What's the question? Sorry, Andrew. We could get there.
Why, if things that you keep saying from the podium turn out to not be true, and things the president keeps saying in a number of venues keep turning out not to be true, why should we be able to trust that the information we're getting from this administration is accurate? And more importantly, why should Americans be able to trust that what they hear from this White House is always the truth?
Once again, I don't know how many times I have to address this, but I work every single day to give you accurate and up-to-date information, and I'm going to continue to do that. Frankly, I think my credibility is probably higher than the media's, and I think that in large part that's because you guys spend more of your time focused on attacking the president instead of reporting the news. I think that if you spent a little bit more time reporting the news instead of trying to tear me down, you might actually see that we're working hard trying to provide you good information and trying to provide that same good information to the American people. John? Sorry, Andrew, I gave you quite a bit of time.
Sir, the president again took a stick to his favorite piñata, Jeff Sessions, today. What is the president's goal here? Is it just simply to remind the Attorney General that he's really PO'd at him and he's not going to let him forget it? Is he trying to get him to quit? Is he trying to emasculate him, holding him up? I mean, what is the president trying to do?
Look, the president's made his position on this extremely clear, and I don't have anything to add beyond that.